Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 on this series of using JSON Web Token Authentication using Django and VueJS. What we did in the previous video is we set up our Django environment, we configured our settings and our URLs, we did the initial migrations, and as you can see here we also played around with the endpoints using curl by generating access and refresh tokens. So we can see from our to-do list that we've got a number of things that we need to do. We're going to begin by setting up our VueJS app. Where do we want to set this VueJS app up? In the same place that we've got these requirement files and where we put our Django project. So let's begin. If you don't have Vue.js installed on your system, the way you do that, or the VueCli, is we're going to do sudo npm install -g, which just means global, I believe, at VueCli. So that's how you install it. I've already got it installed, so I'm going to just begin by setting up our project. I'm going to call it JWT project app. So let's create that, and it's going to prompt us how we want to do this. We want to do it manually, of course, and we're not going to use TypeScript or progressive web app. We're just going to do root at Vuex, CSS, and that's all we really need to do. So let's continue with this. We want 3. Yes. Yep, that's fine. Save this preset. No. So we're now actually setting up our Vue.js project. Once this is done, we can tick it off. I know it's going to work, so let's tick this off. We're now going to open our new app using VS Code, so we're going to say code JWT project app. Okay, fantastic. We can tick this off. I thought I already had ticked it off. We want to navigate inside our JWT app, and we want to do npm install axios. That's a nice little one for us to check off. Let's do that. This is fine. That's fine. So axios is installed, and we now want to go into main.js. Okay, so that's kind of it for setup. Great. What we want to do now is npm run serve. It told us before. And we're going to open a new Google. So we want to be on localhost. Let's open that up. So we can see our Vue.js project is running quite nicely. Okay, so next thing we want to do is set up our main.js. So it's going to here, main.js. That's fine. We want to import axios from axios. We want to set the base URL of our API, so axios dot defaults dot base URL, and we're just going to give it HTTP, and this is our Django API on port 8000, and we're going to say use axios. So that's all we need to do for main.js. We can go ahead and check that off our to-do list. And the next thing I've put is to create our sign up and login router links, or router links I should say, I'm not American. So we can get rid of this, and we want to open app.vue, and inside here we want to actually, let's copy and paste these two. Control copy, Control V. We'll also want to add this here, like so. Bring that back. This wants to be sign up, like so, and we give that a new thing, sign up, like so. This wants to be login. This wants to be log in. Lovely. So if we go to our web app, we should have these. So we have about and sign up and log in, which don't actually point towards anything yet. That's another really small item of our to-do list. So the next thing we want to do is create our login and sign up views, although I can see that I've put views, which is quite funny, when really it should probably be views. I mean, view is just the name, but they are views that we're creating. So let's begin with the sign up view. We can just come into our views, new file, sign up with a capital U as well, .view, like so. And inside here we can have template, something like that. We can have our div tags. Class is going to be sign up page. Maybe that should be page sign up. It doesn't really matter too much. And here we're just going to put, I know it's case insensitive, but it should be let's just make it h1 tags like this. And this is our sign up page. Okay, great. Another thing we need to do is our script tags. And we need to say, firstly actually we need to import axios from axios, as we're going to be using that. And we want to say export default, and then the name of what we're going to call this. So name is going to be sign up, and that's it for the time being. Let me go check what I actually put in here. I've put configure the router index.js, but what I might do is just do that quickly now so that we can actually see the changes on the page. So let's go into here. Okay. We don't need any of this stuff here. Don't really care about that. Let's copy and paste this. Control copy. Control V. This needs a comma. And let's do that again. This is going to be sign up. And that's going to be sign up, which we haven't imported yet. This is going to be login, and this is also going to be login, which we're going to get warning for this because it doesn't exist yet, but that's fine. We can import one of them, so we can say import sign up from views / sign up, because we've just created it, signup.view. And I guess we can go ahead and, I don't know if we, let's import the other one too, and then we can go ahead and create that. So login from views / login with a capital I and a small n. So let's see what's going on. It's saying this isn't found, so this is actually a compilation error, so we need to go ahead and create this view. So new file, and we're going to call that login.view, and all we need to really do is do Control copy, and paste that, and we're going to call this login, and this is going to be log in. Lovely jubbly. Login. Okay, fantastic. There should be no more problems with that. We should be able to see that now. So home, about, sign up, and it seems like login isn't working. So I'm just checking that. So this is correct. It has got login text, so something is wrong here. Login, this looks correct. Oh, it's the path. So that should be login. There you go. So all of that is now working. So we've actually finished configuring our router, and I've made a few slight changes because we're no longer going to be filling out our login and sign up views. We're just going to keep them super simple, just so they exist, and we're going to fill them out in the next video. Great. So we need to create the store, and we need to create the beforeCreate lifecycle hook. These are super important. That's what we're going to do next. So let's start making our store now. Let's go into here, and we're going to have a couple of states to begin with, which is just our access token, and then we've also got a refresh token, like so. And as always, the first thing we always do is we create a mutation, which is going to be initialize store, which we're going to call as soon as our app is loaded. Now, what does this want to have? It's kind of going to look similar to the previous video that I did on just token authentication, and we're just going to say if local storage.getItem has our access token, then what we want to do is we want to actually say state. We also need to be passing the state. State.access is equal to local storage.getItem access. You can call it access token if you want. Maybe that's more clear for you. Otherwise, it's fine. Else, we're just going to say state.access is equal to nothing. So that's fine. We're not going to do anything just yet with the refresh token. We're going to be doing that a bit further along. Okay, so where are we now? That closes this. Then we want to do set access, same as with our 3 S's. That's going to take the state and the access token. And we're just going to say state.access is equal to access. That's it. And we're going to say remove access, which we probably won't need to do. I mean, the whole point is that we don't explicitly remove the access token. It just expires. So in fact, we don't need to do that. Perhaps later, there might be some point where it's necessary to remove access token, or you might just want to do it to make sure. So that's our store done actually. So we've initialized our store, and what we're going to see when the app loads, we're going to say if in our local storage we've got our access token, and by the way, moving forward we probably will be moving the access token out of local storage. I'm not entirely sure yet though, so we'll see. So that's that. Great. So our initial store is done, really. We can check that off our to-do list. We probably will be tinkering with it a bit later. I mean, we certainly will be. I wanted to do another thing quickly. I wanted to get rid of all of this stuff, and we can really just do that by removing the component like so, which means we no longer want this component either. And I wanted to replace this with just some simple H tags or something, and in here we're just going to write home, which just tidies it up a little bit for me. Then we're going to go into app, where we're going to create our initial lifecycle hook, beforeCreate, and we don't need to import axios yet, we might later, so again we'll leave it. And we want to say export default name is app. And what do we want to do here is we want to call beforeCreate. And beforeCreate, the first thing we do is this dot store dot initialize. No, it's commit actually. This is how you do it, commit. And what do we want to? This is just going to call a function, or a what are they called? A mutation. And we want to call initialize store, like so. Fantastic. What is this going to do? It's going to check our local storage for an access token, and then we're going to basically able to, because we're using the access token for our authentication, so it's the same as the normal token authentication. So we're going to say const access is equal to this dot store dot state dot access. Okay. So again, the flow right now, our app loads, we initialize store. When we initialize store, it's going to say if local storage.get item access token exists, then we're going to set our state access to whatever that value is. And then here we're basically saying const access, which we're about to use now, I guess we don't really need to use it, is going to be that value. Okay, so we're going to say if access, then we need to set our axios defaults. So axios.defaults.headers .common, this is authorization, and that's going to equal JWT with a space plus our access token. So if you remember the documentation we went through in the first video, what we had is we needed to set our JWT token, which we defined in our Django settings, with the access token, and that was our authorization header information, which is what we're doing here. So every time our app loads, we're just updating our header information with either the token, if it exists, or not the token. So if the token doesn't exist, the access token doesn't exist, then we essentially get locked out. Or we don't get access to the information. So else, what we want to do is axios.defaults.headers.common. I could have copied and pasted it, but I didn't. Wonderful. So JWT is a bit more complicated, so we still need to do more stuff. If this was normal token authentication, we'd almost be done. We would just have to work on the sign up and login views. We're not quite there yet, but we might be there for this video, so I'm just going to have a quick look. And yes, so as long as there's no issues, which there clearly is, So that's it for this video. Hopefully it was useful. We've actually done most of what we need to do. So subscribe, and the next video will be out either tomorrow or the day after. Thanks for watching.